All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are looking at 3 scientific breakthroughs that are really set to change our world in 2026. Now, they're in totally different fields. We're talking energy, we're talking medicine, but they're all connected by one single powerful idea: the fact that innovation is moving faster than ever before. So, let me ask you a question. How long do you think it takes for a discovery in a lab to actually end up as a product in your hand, or something that changes your life? Historically, that journey has taken, well, decades. But what if that's not true anymore? Because in 2026, that whole timeline is being crushed. The gap between a brilliant idea on a lab bench and a real-world application is shrinking like crazy. And today, we're going to look at 3 perfect examples that prove it. What we're seeing here isn't just a few lucky one-offs. This is evidence of a huge, fundamental shift in the speed of science itself. So to really see what that means, let's jump into our first example. First up, energy. Generating clean power is one of the biggest puzzles we're trying to solve. For years, silicon solar panels have been the standard, but honestly, they're starting to hit a wall. Look, silicon cells have been amazing, but we're getting really close to the absolute maximum amount of power we can squeeze out of them. But then along come perovskites. These are materials that, when you layer them with silicon to create a hybrid cell, well, they just change the entire game. And the numbers here really tell the story. The very best silicon-only cells top out around 27% efficiency, but these new hybrid cells, they've already blown past 34%. That is a massive leap forward in how much sunlight we can turn directly into electricity. And you can bet the scientific community has noticed. In just over a decade, the number of research papers published on perovskite cells has shot up 86-fold. That's not just a little bit of interest. That is an absolute explosion of focus, and it shows you just how fast this field is moving. But here's the kicker. This is where we really see that lab-to-life idea in action. Back in 2015, only about 2% of all that research was in the form of patents. Now, it's 15%. This stuff is not just a cool lab experiment anymore. It's a serious commercial product, with companies like Oxford PV already building factories. Okay, so generating power is one thing, but you also have to be able to store it for when the sun isn't shining. So our second breakthrough is all about the battery, another area where the technology we all use is facing some pretty big challenges. Lithium-ion batteries are in everything, right? Your phone, your laptop, electric cars. But they're not perfect. They rely on materials like lithium and cobalt, which can be hard to get and expensive. Not to mention, there can be safety and fire risks. All of this has created a huge push to find something better. And the crucial shift, the real magic here, is the ingredients. These next-gen batteries, metal air and sodium ion, they run on some of the most common, abundant elements on the planet. We're talking iron, zinc, sodium, salt. This isn't just about making them cheaper. It's about building an energy system that's way more sustainable and resilient. And this quote just brilliantly captures the potential scale we're talking about. It's referring to iron-air batteries, like the ones from Form Energy. We're not just talking about a better battery for your phone. We are talking about grid-scale storage, the kind that can power a city for days, making a fully renewable grid not just a dream, but a real possibility. Now, this whole trend of super-fast innovation isn't just for energy. So for our third breakthrough, let's switch gears completely and look at medicine, where artificial intelligence is changing everything about how we fight diseases like cancer. So to really get this, we first need to understand what a biomarker is. Just think of it like a biological signal, a little flag in your body, like a protein or a gene that can tell doctors if a disease is there. For the longest time, we've used them simply to detect if someone has cancer. But what if we could do more? The brand new approach, totally powered by AI, isn't just about finding the disease anymore. It's about predicting, with incredible accuracy, which exact treatment is going to work best for which exact patient. It's a total paradigm shift. So here's how it works, basically. A framework developed by AstraZeneca and Tempus AI just gobbles up enormous amounts of patient data. The AI then churns through it, finding subtle patterns that no human could ever spot, and it actually forecasts how a patient will respond to a drug. And the result? It led to a 15% survival benefit. That is huge. And what's really wild is just how new the AI behind this is. This whole predictive model is built on something called transformer architecture. That's the same technology that was introduced in this huge landmark paper from Google back in 2017. We're talking less than a decade to go from a research paper to saving lives in a clinical setting. So, yeah, get this. The same core technology that helps a chatbot write an email or a poem is now helping doctors pick the right cancer treatment. It is a perfect, mind-blowing example of how these AI tools are jumping between completely different fields and just accelerating everything. Okay, so let's tie this all together. We've talked about solar panels, we've talked about batteries, and we've talked about medicine. They seem like totally separate things, right? Well, they're not. They are all being supercharged by the same powerful underlying forces. Really, there are three big threads that connect our whole story today. First, that gap between a lab discovery and a real product is closing faster than ever. Second, the urgent need for sustainability is sparking brilliant new ideas that use abundant common materials. And finally, AI. AI is the universal accelerator. It's the secret sauce that's speeding up progress in every single field it touches. And all of this convergence leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to think about. As AI keeps pushing the speed of discovery in everything from new materials to new medicines, you just have to wonder, what incredible breakthrough is right around the corner?